Hello everyone. Right, today's video, like I said on Monday, I didn't know what I was going to do. But this video sort of follows on a trend I've had for like the last couple of weeks. A rather scary trend, but a trend nonetheless. Now originally this was only going to be a short video because of some information I've got with regards to a previous video I've done before, which was the video about the 7 Awesome Kids. The guy who on that channel was a bit predatory, I think we shall say. So I was just, one of my viewers has since revealed something to me, and she has given me permission to share that with you guys. But don't know why, but it also turns out that over the weekend YouTube have actually started to address yet another predator problem. And I don't mean on easy on, because, well, that's all kind of worms I don't want to get into at the minute. Oh, the guy gives me the creeps. Anyway, right, for those that don't know me, hi, my name is Simone. I have a degree in forensic science and criminology, and one of the things I studied and still study to this day is child abuse. I've had multiple people in my life that have been victims of multiple forms of abuse. I have a couple of subscribers that have been victims too. Through my studies and through my training, I know what is abuse and what isn't. And I know how the internet has sort of made this thing such a weird and I'll get to all that. So, we'll flash back to my previous video, which was about the 7 Awesome Kids. The owner of that channel was brought upon charges to do with predatory behaviour to several of the people that work for him, where he would demand certain things, he would control them into certain things, and if they disagreed with it, then he'd pull their screen time or whatever. And the parents wouldn't sit in every meeting because they trusted him. Commonplace, it's called grooming, because predators don't only groom the child, they groom the parents or the guardians of the child, so that the parent or the guardian won't automatically instinctually think if their child's being abused, oh, it's this person, because they'll think, well, it can't be him because he's so nice. He's so nice because... So, he would groom the parents to the point where they would trust him, so he could be alone with the children. Anyway, one of my viewers on that video, a week ago, left a comment, and she said, her first comment was, I was on 7 Fantastic Kids, which was Fantastic Girls, which was under the umbrella of 7 Awesome Kids. I think it was one of the channels. I won't say what name she was. I have left this comment string up until she says she wants me to take it down, but it is up. I'm just not going to say it there. And then she says, I'm not surprised at all. Ian Wright, which is the predator we've spoken about, was a fucking bastard. And I said, I dread to think, blah blah blah. She said, he did hurt us. Long story, but if you want to hear what happened, reply to this. So I said, I'm interested. I dread to think he's a monster. And she did a long comment. And what she says is bad enough. And she was only young at the time. So I dread to think what else he's done that's... She said, so basically for a few months, the first few months on SFG was okay, but later on it started to get bad. Ian started making us show our feet more, do more swim themes, which ties into the other part of this video, which I'll get to in a minute. He did a bunch of other creepy things she didn't go into detail, but again, I dread to think. He also told us the only reason he made the channel was for money. I was pissed off that he told us that, and I literally smashed my computer mouse and quit forever. I also remember when he told me a video I spent a decent amount of time on was terrible. I cried so much because I worked really hard on it and it gets rejected. Again, this is something else where it's basically they put you in your place by, Auto Predators will put you in the place by chastising you for something and then giving you attention in a different way, so it makes you think, well, it's still my friend type of thing, and it's a common tactic because Onision does it all the time. I cried so much because I worked really hard on it and it gets rejected. That's when I started to care less about the 7 Awesome Kids and moved on. I also didn't really get along with the other girls because we were all competing against each other, and I thought we'd all be best friends. But Ian just encouraged fighting and drama, which basically means that if they're all fighting and they have drama with each other, they're not going to sit down and say, oh, Ian does this with me, and then they'll find out that they're not the special ones. Because he'll tell every single one of his victims that they're special, because that's their MO, that they are special and that they're his favourite, and this, that and the other. And the last thing he would want is for the girls to have a relationship where they can share that, because then the gig will be up, because he did find out that what he's doing isn't just to one person, it's to multiple people, and that every single one of those would realise that they're not special, that it is not love or whatever. I was so sick of 7 Awesome Kids and just quit after Ian told us about the money. I'm so happy I quit when I did, and I asked her if she would agree if I could share it, and she said yes, please share it. I feel the public has a right to know the truth. Now, while that does not give you details of the worst type of abuse that can happen, the fact that he would pit these girls against each other, the fact that he would tear these girls down when they're not even adults yet, and he would get them to do creepy things, he would get them to do swim stuff, and he would get them to do foot stuff, that's creepy, because those 3 things, creepy stuff, which probably means things that children shouldn't be doing on a YouTube channel, feet stuff and bikini stuff can all be sexualised quite easily. Lots of people have foot fetishes. A lot of people who see people in bikinis, it's like, it's not far off seeing with nothing on. So people can visualise things a lot more. And this channel and a lot of others would then become a seeding point for predators, which is where the next topic comes into play. I was watching film, and I watched him this afternoon because I was trying to get some decent amount of sleep last night. And his video was about the predator problem on YouTube. Now, this has been a recurring theme now for, what, 3 years, where we find a group, we get rid of them, and then a couple of months later, we find another group, we get rid of them. Well, it's happening again. Now, in some respects, some of the videos aren't created by adults for adults, but there are a lot of videos which are people under the age of 18 in a swimsuit, particularly of a very specific gender, a female. And a lot of people would just watch the video like it'd be just like holiday haul or something. So they click on it thinking, oh, it's a bit of fun. And then they start watching this video, and Phil actually showed some comments where it said, you know, this makes me feel uncomfortable, this is a bit weird, why are you parading around in a bikini when you're 14, this girl's 14, I feel sick, type of thing. And that is the appropriate reaction to have. If you have a child under the age of 18 that is on YouTube, one thing I would never do is allow my child, if they were doing videos on YouTube, was to upload a video of them in a swimsuit. Specifically because that video can then become the perfect breeding ground for comments and phrases and things said by a certain group of people that are less than tasteful, and it's happening a lot. I think Phil said there was several 100,000 comments that YouTube have recently deleted relating to videos of children where they're saying predatory things about said children. And the fact is, YouTube allows these commenters to have a channel. I've had people comment on videos before that have children victims. I've reported the comments, but the people have stayed online. And they still have a channel. They still have a YouTube account. And they're going to keep doing that until either the authorities are involved or something, because it's getting to the point now where it's not just, or it's just a comment, because these comments are scary, they're disgusting, they're vile, especially if the channel is run by somebody who's under 18. They're going to see that comment. They won't necessarily completely know what it means. They won't realise what they think they're doing is harmless, but it actually isn't. It's incredibly harmful to them and to other people. And it's going to take time for people to realise that. YouTube do need to step up, because a lot of these people that are making these comments are just going to repeatedly make accounts and make these comments. And they need to get either a company or the FBI or somebody involved. And I dare say, if the FBI had the manpower and the FBI were given the full extent of what is being said and what is being done, then they would do something. There is also still people who have YouTube channels that are pro-paedophile, which to me is... we all know how I feel about that. But at the end of the day, if you watch a video and it's got somebody under the age of 18 in the comments, you report that comment. Whether it's your video or not, you report that comment. Or you find a way of reporting that comment to somebody, because this needs to stop. And if you know of these accounts, then you tell YouTube about these accounts. You constantly report them, of the accounts where they are running from multiple different videos and saying unsavoury things. And the fact is, predators exist everywhere. In my videos, when I was talking about Austin Jones, I was discussing, with regards to that, all the different things of why social media has seen an increase in predators. It hasn't seen an increase in predators, it's seen an increase in predators having access to digital formats, to YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all different platforms. If there is a social media platform, a predator will use that platform to get what they want. And I dare say even Twitch. Now I know Twitch are extremely strict. They are extremely strict. I do know people who have been banned from YouTube that have accidentally flashed shorts that they've had under shorts. I know people have been banned on YouNow, suspended from YouNow, one in particular, because she likes to make it look like she's in the bath naked when she's not. Now the thing is, a lot of these social media platforms do need to get better at identifying these things. They do need to get better at enforcing these rules. Whether we make it so that everybody who uses YouTube has to be 18, and that if they are under the age of 18, that a parent actually controls the videos and the uploads. Because it's getting to a point now where it is dangerous. Because the worst thing about this is with YouTube, a lot of people have the idea that a YouTube is easier to grab a hold of, a YouTube is easier to attain. If you think of the way you look at I'll use women as an example. If you think of the way you look at, say, Charlize Theron and Jenna Marbles. If you were walking down the street and you saw Charlize Theron, you probably wouldn't say boo to a goose. Or if you would fangirl and say, oh, I've watched all your films and that's about it. That's all you'd have to talk about. Whereas if you saw Jenna Marbles and you walked up to Jenna Marbles, you'd feel like you were her best friend because you know the name of her ex-boyfriend, you know the name of her current boyfriend, you know the name of all 3 of her dogs, you know she's got a brother, you know she's got nieces and nephews, you know she's close to her mum, you know that she's close to Julian's family, both sides, and you know that she's not long since bought a house, and you can talk about those things because you know those things about her. And you know everything about her because that's all the information she's sharing online because that's what she's done. And at the end of the day, people see YouTubers as more attainable, more approachable, more of a successful target. There are multiple people that have started a relationship with somebody they've fangirled or fanboyed over. Perfect example, Joe and Jessica from JK News. Jessica was originally a fan and she Instagrammed Joe and they're now together. They've been together a couple of years. It happens, and it happens quite often. And while it does happen in Hollywood, it doesn't happen as much as it does on YouTube. And the thing is, because YouTube is more attainable, especially family vloggers, when you see family vloggers or anything along those lines, you'll see them and you'll think, oh, you know, oh, I can sit and talk to them and talk to the kids. And while the family vlogger might be a bit weirded out, you won't give a flying about it and you will approach them. And it's that sense of entitlement and that sense of ownership that we have over YouTubers that causes this to be a bigger issue than it would be if it was a celebrity actor or whatever. The main issue being, if, say, trying to think of, right, yeah, I'll use that one because they're the only ones that I know that have got teenage kids. Right, Ritali, I don't watch them. I do know they lost the son not that long ago. For which I will forever be sorry. But they have several teenage girls, and I don't think the parents would take kindly to somebody walking up to one of the girls and propositioning them the way that they would possibly proposition them on YouTube. But because we have that sense of entitlement when it comes to YouTubers, I don't personally, but a lot of other people would, I really don't feel like it's safe to put your children on YouTube. I understand why people do it, but it still makes me feel creepy. Even just thinking about it makes me feel creepy. And the worst thing is, these channels where they are exploiting children are happening quite often. And then you have the fact that there are channels where kids are doing a behaviour that they wouldn't normally think is an issue, and they don't think it's an issue because they don't think of it the way that the worst people on the planet exist. They think, and what the things in their heads say, because they're cocooned, they're isolated from it, which we should. And this is a perfect example where not only a company, but several government agencies need to team up together and get rid of these assholes. Whether we create new international and national laws with regards to communication on social media with regards to sexual behaviour, particularly if it's centred and targeted towards somebody the age of 18, we need to do something. Because if we don't, it's only going to get worse. We've had this conversation several times. We had it when the whole Austin Jones thing came up 2 years ago. We had it when everything kicked off with Elsa again. And then we've had it again, not long ago, with the whole Brendan Calvero. We've had it with several other people online. And the plain simple fact is, we need to protect children, because children don't know what adults think. And we don't want to tell them what these adults are thinking, because it is the worst thing on earth for them to know. I know what these guys think. And I'm telling you now, it makes me feel sick sometimes. And the plain simple fact is, we need to protect children. That's the be all and end all. Children are our future, and if we constantly put them at risk because they want to be famous, or they want to be this, or they want to be that, it's like, that's fine, but do it under supervision, do it with rules set in place, and don't just have it where the kid has free access to the YouTube account and the kid has free access to respond to comments. You need to vet comments. I vet comments. And I also have certain words that you can't say. And at the end of the day, if you find a channel that's either pro-pedo or is a pedo, report the channel. If you see a comment, flag it, report it, do whatever you need to. If you see anything on any social media social media forum, do something, because that is what we need to do. And like I say, a lot of this isn't going to stop until there's laws in place. We have laws with regards to sharing explicit videos and pictures, but we need a law to protect the explicit trading of text and things like that between a predator and a victim. We just need something, because this is just going to happen again and again and again. I just hope that YouTube get the finger out their ass this time and actually do something about what's going on, because they need to. Because what they're doing just clearly isn't working at all. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna have to calm down in a minute. Anyway, I do know what I'm going to cover Friday, because I'm going to research and record that tomorrow, and it is sort of linked to 2 videos I've done in the past, but I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I am going to say you'll understand the link if you've watched those 2 videos. More specifically, the first one of the 2, you don't necessarily have to have watched the second to understand the link, but I'll be explaining the link in the video anyway. So yeah, I'm going to edit this and upload it now, and then I'm going to try and relax the rest of the night and try and get some writing done, and get some work done and calm myself down. It's just when it comes to kids, I am so protective and passionate, because I know how this affects them, and I know how it can haunt them and ruin them and rip them apart. And I don't want to see these youngsters that are on YouTube or YouNow or Twitch or any form of social media have to go through this. And the fact that there are kids going through that, some of them might not even be aware of it, but the plain simple fact is, it's happening, and we need to do something. We just need to, because in the last, 4 or 5 weeks, I've covered this, 3 or 4 times. If it's not the actual influencers victimizing or being inappropriate with people under the age of 18, it's people who are influencers being victimized by comments and other channels online. Just needs to be sorted. It just needs to be sorted. Stay safe, be good, have fun, and I'll see you on Friday.